You ready?
Name? What is
Okay.
your name? And
Hi, I'm Jordan Howard, and today is December 18th, 2022.
I'm Chris Howard, and today is December 18th, 2022.
great. Okay,
Turn up.
great. And so, you rather me go by Christopher? Go by
You can
Christopher
say
or just
Chris.
Chris?
Yeah, Chris.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Chris. So we know that you're a husband. We know that you're a friend, a son, and you are a follower of Jesus Christ. Hallelujah to that. But you also work with Accenture as a management consultant, leveraging technology to solve issues for the federal government.
Mhm.
And I've seen that you had some opportunities within that to impact also upcoming professionals.
Mhm.
And so applaud you for that.
Thank you.
That is awesome, awesome work that you're doing with that. But we're gonna come back and talk about some of those things a little deeper. But I definitely just wanted to introduce you from that. But you're also a public. You published 2 books.
Mhm.
Like, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's that is so great. And so it's not that often that we see a lot of black men being authors.
Thanks.
And so I definitely wanted to highlight that because you're moving in a mighty way even through that. So
I appreciate that.
that's one of the reasons why we wanted to do this interview, because we recognize even in those things the impact that you're making.
Mm.
And so we're going to touch base on that, but I'm going to move on to your lovely wife, Miss Jordan Howard.
Hey.
Okay, also known as the social worker on her
Thanks.
social media platforms.
Yes.
That's amazing work that you're
Thank you.
doing, and I see that you're basically just changing the perspective of how people see social workers,
Mhm.
but doing it through like a mental health
Mm.
lens,
Mhm.
and I think that is so crucial in this time frame.
Thanks.
Um,
Thanks.
and we appreciate the work that
Thank
you're
you,
doing
girl.
with that. Like, it is so great, it is so needed, and also you're just doing it in a fresh way. That's
Oh,
cool,
thank
right?
you.
Thanks.
And so I've also seen that you've been working with Louisiana Center for Health Equity for a while now,
Mhm.
just creating opportunities for youth
Mhm.
and adolescent health. That is amazing, and we see that parallel with what you're doing and with what you're doing, especially
Crazy.
within y'all like ministries and stuff like that.
Thanks.
It's amazing work. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the questions. First question, and this is y'all's time to boast about y'all accomplishments.
Okay.
Although we're told as Christians not to be boastful,
Right.
Yeah.
but this is our time to do that. So how are you moving in the community?
I'll let Jordan go first. I feel like she's more impactful than me. Personally, I really do believe that.
Well, I appreciate that. So I move in the community by being an advocate, being available, providing resources and opportunities for people who look like me and everybody, but I like to specialize in celebrating and promoting and advancing people and children that look like me. Just because sometimes the playing field is uneven at times, and so just giving them a fair opportunity to earn it, just like anybody else, but to be able to feel confident and comfortable in themselves and just be, feel like they're equipped to do something and be successful in whatever their purpose is. So I pretty much do that through just promoting social media. So mental health on my social media page. So I'm moving forward and trying to be a paid content creator because I do want a little coin, but I also have been started my consulting firm, 7 Path Consulting. And I chose 7 just because it is God's number and it is a number of being intentional and having favor over it. And I want to be able to give organizations and people who are trying to move in the community, the skills and the technical assistance that they may need to be able to do that. And so, yeah, and then also, like you said, I've been at LCHE, Louisiana Center for Health Equity, for almost 5 years, and I was there since I was 19 years old. So I'm only 24, so I just feel like that is something major because a lot of people don't find their purpose that quickly and that early on. So I want to allow people to know that it's possible at any age, young or old. And so, yeah, that's how I'm moving right now.
and pause right there, because we're going to come back to like purpose and just like intent, and just I want to get deeper into like God's impact on y'all's work. But I want to give you the opportunity.
So how am I moving? I guess I'll start off with my job first. I was able to come out of college with a job, paying a decent salary, with benefits at Accenture Federal Services, where I'm a consultant, and that wasn't a common path for people like me. Especially, I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, from Sherwood, specifically. So that's not really a common path. So I got in the job and I saw how not easy but like less difficult it was, and that really is just a lot of barriers of entry for people that look like me. And so I'm trying to kind of break those walls down through being an example first and foremost, recruiting at Southern University where I graduated, and also teaching those who are coming behind me in college and in high school about the opportunities that you can have, regardless if it's consulting or through technology or in industry, ag, whatever that might be, but that you are capable and able of doing all of these things. I guess the other way I'm moving in the community is through my role at United Christian Faith Ministries as the director of the college ministry over there. And I just got into the role, so I'm kind of just getting started. But being an example of a young black man, following Christ, being forward about like my mistakes, my trials, my tribulations, how I feel, and how I'm steady getting back up, and trusting in God in my life, and being young and married,
Game.
yeah, facts. So, so I feel like those are the ways that I'm moving in the community right now.
Hey, that's good. That's good. And you didn't mention it, but I kind of wanted to ask the question. I brought up about your writing.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that desire to write come from?
Interesting. When I was young, like elementary school, I found that stories were like extremely vivid to me. Like I would read something, it was like I could see it, like in everything, and then my imagination just like just expanded to the point where I would want to act this stuff out. And then I would want to see it on TV, right? But I couldn't see everything that I would read or that I would imagine. So I'm like, how else can I create this? Because I want to experience it. So I would just start writing it. And I attempted to write books when I was younger, but they were either short or I just couldn't finish them because I didn't have discipline. So eventually, I tried a few businesses with Jordan when he was in college. They didn't work out. It just wasn't God.
My lord.
It was crazy.
I heard about the dog.
Yeah, we were selling dog toys.
Do not Google it. I'm not saying the name.
We were selling dog toys. I was just trying to get bread, really, to tell you the truth. Yeah, so I was asked to write a story for the what was it? The teen ministry or something like that at my church. So I started writing a story, and I was writing it, and it was supposed to just be like a comic. And I was just like, man, this is getting good. So I started writing a chapter. Then I started writing the second chapter. Then I wrote a third chapter. And I talked to the pastor who asked me to do it. And I was like, man, I really want to turn this into a book. Like, can I do that? Man? He was like, yeah, man, go with it. And it ended up like what our plans were for the youth ministry didn't work out. So I just kind of continued on my own. And through that, expressing all of the things that I didn't find in the books that I would read, like, oh, I would want the story to end like this, or I would want the character to look like this, and I would want a message to be like this. So kind of just, through my writing, I express the things that I want to see, but don't. And especially like people like us black, like I write fantasy books. You don't really see too many black people in fantasy. So.
And I wanted to mention that, but I forgot to mention in the intro. Like you do it in like a different way. Cause like you said, not a lot of people or black people read fantasy books. Right. My sister behind the camera, she reads fantasy books. So you don't have to put it on. But that's good. Thank you for speaking on that a little bit. And so, Jordan, I wanted to get a little bit of your story about how like.
I feel like I've always had like a Hannah Montana type of lifestyle because I was in like private school, but I kind of lived in the hood. Like I live in Gardier for those who are Baton Rouge natives, but like it's literally like two opposite sides of the world. And so
Yeah.
I kind of just had a broad perspective very young on just like what life was looking like for different people.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I was like, well, I want to be a lawyer. And so I was like, I want to be able to defend people, support people, make sure they have whatever they need. So I went to Southern and I'm like, I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to go to law school. And then I found out you could have any type of major in order to go to law school. So I was like, well, let me change to health administration. I let family members get in my ear and suggest
About
things that was
bread.
gonna help me make money. And since I was smart or whatever, so I was like, "Bet." So I went. I was like, "Hello, I want to change my major to health administration." And they was like, "Bon, we don't offer that." So I was like, "Well, sis, I don't know what else I want to do." So I was in political science, and then she was like, "Well, what are you good at? What do you like to do?" And in the school of social work, they say like, "Oh, the first answer that they all give freshman year is, oh, I like to help people." So, and that's what I said. I was like, "Well, I like to help people. I feel like people come to me, trust me, or whatever. I have great advice. I don't know." So she was like, "Well, what about social work?" I was like, "Well, what the heck is that?" Like, I don't want to take people kids, and that's all I knew about it. But I was like, "I'll give it a try." She was like, "No, it's more than that. You can do this and this and that." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'll give it a try." And so I went, and I honestly just have not regretted that decision. And like anytime somebody asks me like, "Oh, what do you actually do?" I love to break the myths and stereotypes around social work because it has like this narrative around it where it's like these old women that's just evil and want to make everybody miserable and take people kids. And I'm like, I don't do any of that. And yeah, I'm still impactful and I'm still helping children be safe and healthy and have a positive lifestyle and life and home life and
Mm-hmm.
relationships. And so like just through that, I've been empowered myself just through my own testimonies and journeys that I've experienced to be able to be like, this is my story and I'm not too far removed, but look at where I am. And not saying that I'm where I want to be, but I'm on the right track and I
Right.
can show you how to do that. And so like, even though I'm not just trying to do like, adolescents, students, stuff like that, young adults, people my age or even older, because like social work is about the mind. I always feel like sometimes we're underrated. Like no cap. Like we are literally the doctors of the mind. So I feel like we should be getting paid just as much as doctors who are helping you physically. And so
Thanks.
I'm trying to change that narrative on like my social media and like show them like we're young, we're smart, we're worthy, we're necessary, we're essential just as much as anybody else in any other profession because without a healthy mind you cannot function. You
Even
cannot
more.
be your best self. So like
Mm-hmm.
I just want to promote that from a standpoint of just not textbook knowledge, but on social media, like saying like I made a post that hit like 52K, and I was like, dang, what the heck? But it was because I talked about overspending. I was like, me whenever my husband make me have to return something, it was a Target bag, and I was literally going to return something to
Cause I
Target.
really
So
did raw out.
he really was like, you overspend, like you got me messed up, and I'm like, and I talked about impulse and just like how to handle those urges and
Thanks.
to just be responsible. So like it's literally life stuff that I deal with every day that I just want to show people like this is how you handle it because it's not, oh, I want to jump off a building. Like that's not, people take mental health so extreme, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
it's literally just having confidence or having the willpower to do something just in your everyday life, getting
Mm-hmm.
up, like simple stuff. And so that's why I just want to make it relatable and show everybody that mental health is important no matter what stage it is. It doesn't have to be so extreme to where you committed or something like
Mm.
that. So yeah.
But how important do you think it is for young Black youth to see individuals like you to represent it?
I can go.
Yeah, you can
Okay. Well, I'm gonna use this example of I about to say Coco Melon. What that movie is Encanto. That
Oh
blew
yeah.
up because they had every shade of the Hispanic and Latino community ever, and how much they enjoyed the representation. Same thing as the new Ariel. I mean, Little Mermaid with Chloe
Mm-hmm.
or Halle. Sorry, Halle.
Highland, yeah.
But like because representation matters, and a lot of times when you see these textbooks, you see these shows, you see if any arena that's bigger than us besides music and rap industry, you don't really see too many people succeed. You don't really see us as the images that you think of. So
Mm.
like I just want to show and be a face that's relatable, um, realistic,
Mm-hmm.
approachable, and like to show other people that it's attainable. So like for me, I think it's so important because like you don't really believe that you belong in certain spaces until you see other people that look
That's so
like you
true.
sometimes. And so like even though I feel like I'm kind of a trailblazer to where I'm like, God, put me in the rooms that people looking at me like, how the freak you got here? What you doing here? Like, who are you? And I'm like, yeah, I want to be that. I want to be that person to like break the barriers so that all of the ones behind me could just run through that mug and be like, I've been was supposed to be here. Like, I feel like that's how,
Facts.
the people in our history, our ancestors
Facts.
and stuff did. Like, they really bust down so much stuff for us to be able to do this. So, like, I'm like, it's
Facts.
my turn. So, like, I'm about to move. I'm about to be
That's
on
so
go
true.
because it's like, why not take advantage of the freedom and the access that we actually have and that we deserve just as much as anybody else? So, I feel like that's why representation is so important to me because if not us, then who?
Yeah,
So,
that's so true. Dang, man, you killed that. Busting down
I'm
because
passionate.
we talk about that often though.
Yeah.
Um, I guess for me and my perspective, like my life, I like I said, I grew up in Sherwood, and like I was fortunate enough to have my dad in my life. So like seeing him work as a man, like he mostly did, like he was a barber, he worked at UPS, like he was a like a skilled laborer in a way. So seeing that and knowing that that was a way, but I saw other people in my neighborhood that they had seemed like they had more money than my daddy, and like what I'm saying, they was selling drugs. Like one dude had a Lambo, and I was like, dang, like this dude got a Lambo. That one was yellow. I remember that. I was like, this dude really getting money for real, and it almost made me want to be like, cause he knew me, he knew us. It almost made me want to be like, say, bro, what you doing? Like, put me on. But then I was like, nah, man, cause my daddy taught me something different. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So being able to see somebody who is successful in a space that you wouldn't have thought you could be, and that's has way more longevity than like illegal ways or even ones that depend on your body, because eventually your body gonna fail you, but your mind gonna outlast your body every day. So being in spaces like this, like being in technology and consulting, being in ministry, being married at a young age, it's like showing myself as an example for young men and young women that's coming behind us. Seeing that like is extremely important, because like Jordan said, if you don't see it, then you don't even really believe that that's possible. If you don't have somebody putting that into you, saying like, hey, you can go this far, you can do this, anything is possible, you're not gonna believe it. So
Right.
I think it's extremely important for us to live out our truth and also be transparent about our errors and flaws,
Facts.
because on the other hand, you might think that this person is so out of reach, like this is impossible for that to happen. But if you sit down and talk, you like, you just like me, bro. You just older,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
That was really good. That was really good. Y'all kind of already went into like my next question
hmm
of like being that y'all both grew up in Baton Rouge
hmm
area and seeing everything there is in Baton Rouge. Like, how has your upbringing affected the stuff that you do today? So y'all
hmm
kind of already tapped
Mm-hmm.
into what I was going to
hmm
ask. But y'all can further elaborate if y'all like.
Um, I just want to. I guess I could just say a point on that.
hmm
That way I'm not, being redundant. But like to the point of what he just said about like how that yellow car was imprinted in his
Facts.
mind, and for those who don't have that support and that foundation, that could have been a switch
hmm
of him being in Angola right now or him being a federal consultant.
Facts.
It's all about the decisions that people make
Facts.
and about the support and the mental health and just the identity that you have in
hmm
yourself. And I feel like that's going back to just why I think that mental health is so important, because like if you don't have that, I don't even know if you, but it's just like if you don't have it, like
Foundation.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's night and day of what your
Facts.
life can be. And I don't, y'all get my point.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just wanted to like touch on that because it's so important.
That's interesting. So I think for me, just to kind of go like in a different direction, like the growing up where I grew up, kind of shaped my mindset to be approachable to anybody and like be able to like really talk to anybody, because I was always blessed to kind of like understand stuff somewhat faster than other people. But just because I was good at just focusing, like I saw like a lot of people just couldn't focus. Not that they not smart, you just can't focus. So I could focus. So I was able to learn stuff. And so it put me in spaces to be able to talk to the people that were like quote unquote smart, and the people that were quote unquote not smart, and then the people that were quote unquote bad, and the people that were quote unquote good or whatever. So it put me in spaces of like all of these different areas. And then because I grew up where I grew up from, I'm like, bro, you remind me of my brother. Or like, bro, you remind me of my neighbor. Like, you really remind me, you know? So like it kind of shaped my perspective to know like nobody is really out of reach, and we have more commonalities than we do differences.
Thanks.
Regardless of ethnicity, upbringing, where you from, whatever. Like everybody has some common ground because we all human. So yeah.
That's good. That's good. So I'm gonna switch the atmosphere real quick.
Mhm.
But would y'all say y'all found out purpose?
Let me go. I feel like purpose. At first, I thought purpose was one thing, but now understanding that when you following God, growth is inevitable because He'll put you in uncomfortable situations, and because of that, your purpose is ever growing, ever evolving. So for this time and season, I believe I am in purpose, but purpose is more of a path rather than a destination. Yeah, that's crazy that I said that.
He felt that in his
I felt
See
it.
my little clip.
no, right? He felt it. But no, for me, I say absolutely.
Mm,
And it is a process. It's never just a one point where you like,
mhm.
I made it.
Right.
It's like you have to continue to grow, because you can just as easy as you can walk into purpose, you can fall out of it
Facts.
if you're not continuing to
Facts.
grow. And so like for me, I'm on my journey, but I know I'm on that right path. I'm on that
Mhm.
seventh path. Plug in. So no,
Shameless plug.
but I definitely feel like I'm in purpose, and it's one of my biggest lessons that I recently learned was that my purpose and like, okay, so like my identity and my purpose and my goals are different things.
Mm,
So like
mm,
who I am is Jordan. And Jordan loves volleyball. Jordan loves working out. Jordan loves eating. Jordan loves sleeping. Jordan loves being on Instagram, all that type of stuff. But then my goal and, aspirations are different. They're outside of that. And it brought me balance to just my life in general, because I learned how to separate that and not get burnt out.
mhm,
And it helped me be more encouraged to continue to walk in my purpose, because even like, I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's like they're two things. And like I got so caught up in I am my work, I am mental health, I am
Right.
a mental health advocate. Then it's like, outside of work, who am I?
Mhm.
Outside of what I'm called to do, like who am I though
Do
as an
versus
individual? Who is my heart? Like what
Mhm.
type of person am I
Mhm.
outside of those things that I
Right.
do for other people?
Facts.
How am I treating my family? How am I treating my husband? How am I treating
Mhm.
myself? And
Mhm.
so like once I was able to at least know that there's supposed to be separation, it helped me be more confident in my purpose, and even just finding myself as a young woman. So
Facts.
yeah,
Facts. Be versus do.
right.
Hey. All right.
Mm.
So next question, we have a few more after
Mhm.
this. How has God and your church,
Uh-huh.
played a factor in your desire to reach people, and who are your sisters?
Okay. So for me, I was in a lost and found box,
Sorry.
and I was waiting on a place in the community like UCFM to pick me out. And like honestly, that was life changing, and I could cry. I'm so glad I got on glass, because my eyes literally watering up, because I know where I was and I know where I am now. And I'm so thankful and so proud, because I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for finding that church and then finding God, because it started in the fellowship, in the community, and not being judged, and feeling like I belonged to something bigger than me. And so I'm just, y'all, because
That's crazy.
when you find that,
He's gonna cry.
you find yourself. And I hope y'all heard it. He talking about, I knew you was gonna cry, but because it's real to me, and it's important because I know even where with who I am and what I am now, I could lose it all.
Right.
And so it's not from me. God gave me this. He built me to do and live in my purpose. I was designed to be Jordan first, and a wife, and an advocate for people who don't have a voice or who don't have the confidence to be like, this is not right. Somebody's treating me wrong, or anything like that. And I'm just like, if I didn't be able to heal and grow and find myself and love myself, I couldn't be nothing for nobody else.
Mhm.
And so God has truly loved on me and taught me the art of forgiveness and healing. And so just for that, I'm grateful, because without that foundation, I wouldn't be able to offer anything else of myself to anybody else
Mm.
without it being fake or not genuine.
Mm.
That's good.
So yeah,
Dang.
sorry for the episode, but
Oh,
oh
gosh. No, that was good.
You
I
ahead, bro.
think that's one of the purposes of this conversation. I want to reflect where you come from
Mm-hmm.
and to truly just bask in the gratefulness of this
Mm.
thing. The
Facts.
we've all come from somewhere
Facts.
and we're not too proud of it, but
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of us, God was the thing that brought
Mm-hmm.
us out.
Facts.
And
Saving
still
grace.
is.
Facts. Still
And
is.
that's continuing to build us. So
Facts.
I'm glad that she spoke on that. Maybe you
Facts.
could talk about what God has, what role has God played in your success? And
God, God is my success. Period. And I'm not just saying that to say that. I really live that. Um, I've been in a few situations where I could have not been here. Actually, did for real. And I see God's hand protecting me, loving me, healing me, growing me, shifting me. Don't do that. Don't go here. I've been in one wreck that my car really like spun and it stopped right before the oncoming traffic was about to hit me. And I didn't even know God then. So it's like, so to be here, like it's amazing. And I'm gonna kind of go into the whole story I mean, like 12th grade, I thought I was a guy myself. I used to call myself a guy. Real talk. It was like some crazy stuff going on with me where I just believed that I could do whatever I want and I would get it. And what was crazy was it was actually real. I was getting what I wanted. And I believe God was allowing that to happen to me so that when I gathered all of those things, he would strip them away from me to show me what the truth was. And that eventually did happen. But when I started back going to church, going to United Christian Faith Ministries, it was the pastor who created a personal relationship with me to kind of show me an example of what a man of God looks like when they living authentically in success, just in all the roles that he has been called to, and that's Pastor Mark Ellis. And like showing me that example was like crucial for me to know that first, it's not lame to serve God. You can be a man and a straight man and serve God. It was big for me too. Um, so God revealing that, bringing me through salvation, showing me my errors and my flaws to lead me down this path where I did get a job at Accenture. I am living the life I'm supposed to live. I was able to get married at 20. What, it was 22? Yeah, it was 22. 22 years old. I'm like, dude, I wasn't even thinking about that. Like, we able to have a successful life. Like, God gave us a house that we renting out for like pennies, basically, like compared to what we make. So it's like God
Thank you,
steady
Lord.
showing us the way and evolving us, but it comes with those stripping away. Like, hey, this is wrong with you. You need to depend on me in this area. So like, God is my success. Period.
we're talking about the Lord.
I'm saying I could take a nap on that.
I don't know.
Next question
Mm.
is, so basically, what's next? Like,
Mm.
what's the impact that the Howards want to make?
I go first this time.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, we have family goals, we have personal goals, and we have like ministry and career goals. So I guess I'll speak on my personal and family, and so personally, I want to grow as a leader. I'm reading this book, Five Levels of Leadership, and I'm realizing what levels I'm on with the people that I'm supposed to lead. So I just want to grow as a leader. I want to grow in kindness, in love, and love in the act of loving, and forgiveness, and like treating people right, because there are some hard edges about myself that God is revealing to me through my relationship with Jordan, through my relationship with my family and friends. Like one dude told me, like, bro, sometimes I'm scared to tell you stuff because I feel like you're gonna raw me out. And I'm like, dang, I can't be like that. You know what I'm saying? So like my goal is to grow in those things. Our goal as a family is to be able to first serve God in everything that we do, for sure. That's the main thing. Uh, Build up wealth, but not just for the sake of building, but for the sake of example, for the sake of distributing, and for the sake of like leaving inheritance for our descendants. We want to be able to eradicate college debt for as many people as possible. That's one of our goals, and we starting with one person already. We're giving a scholarship to, and then we're trying to create a family college fund for like nephews, nieces, eventually when we have children, stuff like that. And then career wise, I just want to grow in my knowledge and leadership inside that space too. I'm not seeking a promotion. I want promotion to be the byproduct. I don't want that to be the goal. And then ministerially, like in my role as a college director, we have goals to impact at least reconcile 1,000 students back to God all over the nation. We want to grow in the in a we want to grow in the media way, like media platform, creating segments like this that kind of talk about the disconnect between millennials and Gen Z and the generations before us, um, and just be intentional and effective in the lives of the people that we have been called to. We have been called to reconcile this city and other cities back to God, truly change people's lives and see themselves in the way that God sees them, rather than in like kind of like the dark way that we see ourselves. So those are the goals that I have. Yeah.
Okay. Um. So for me, what is next is, I guess, as an individual, um, I just want to grow and being like a better friend,
Mm,
being more intentional to the people that are closest to me and that support me, being more available,
mm,
um, and then I guess professionally, of course, I want to become um, a larger, increase my reach on my content,
mm,
just because I, not because I want the views, but I want the views so people can see it and learn from it.
mm,
Um, so I want to expand in that way. I also want to expand my reach and my clientele with my consulting firm and be able to eventually, because I called it just the social worker. I was going to be my brand.
mm,
And Chris was like, what about after you? And I was
mm,
like, I was like, I wasn't thinking that big. Like, what you mean? Like, I'll think about it when the time comes. But it's like, why not start that foundation now for people to come after you? Like, I was able to pay somebody out of what I was getting paid on a project. And I'm just like, that made me feel like, oh, snap. I'm like, I'm putting somebody on. Like, what the heck? So,
mm,
like, I want to be able to do that and expand. So, like, even after me, I want Seven Path Consulting to continue and to be a large system nationwide that may have branches everywhere that assist people in building community and stuff.
mm.
So yeah, I just, my goal and dream is just for expansion and reach to all in need, from different shapes and forms of whatever their need is.
Oh,
Those are
good.
good
I like
goals.
that. That was good. All right, and so we're reaching our final questions. We
Mhm.
have like two more.
Okay.
One is, if you could tell your future self something, what would it
My future self.
I got it.
Oh, go ahead.
I would say, girl, don't freaking stop. Be consistent. Know your worth.
Mm,
Appreciate the downtime and the people around you. And sometimes people are just not going to understand.
mm.
But don't stop.
Dang. My future self. Hmm. I guess I would say don't be too hard on yourself. And even though it's not the success that you might have envisioned, that does not make it not successful.
Thanks.
And to love everybody around you. Yeah, that's what it would be.
be? And so my last and final question
Mhm.
is, I want y'all to talk to this talk to this person as if it was you.
Mm,
It was you. I'm asking you all to tell what would you have told your younger self?
mhm,
If,
Mm.
like, what would you have told your younger self? If you knew what you knew now, like, what would you tell your younger self? And I want y'all to really make a connect, because there's going to be somebody younger on here that's probably in this position right now, feeling like they want to give up, feeling like they want to not make it.
mhm.
But then they look
Wow.
at y'all and see, wow, there's possibility.
Mm.
So, what would you tell your younger self, or the person listening?
If you got it, you can go ahead. I got to think.
I
I
got it.
ain't
So, um, to whoever is listening and to little me, I would say that the biggest thing is knowing like you're enough and that you have so much more value and so much more to offer than you think. Always value your body and your mind. Protect yourself and your energy. Don't allow yourself to be dimmed because you're the butt of the joke, or it's lame, or it's not
Mm,
cool, or it's not popular. Like, it's okay to be weird. It's okay to be different.
mm.
And that's what makes you special. And that's what's going to make you
Facts.
a boss
Mm,
or a leader and a trailblazer later on, because your uniqueness is your brand.
mm.
And that is what's going to make you be the best person for other people that are like you to be more confident, and academically push yourself because you're smart. You're not dumb. You will make mistakes,
Mm.
and everything will not come as easy as you want it to. Um, but don't allow your environment to stop you from pushing yourself, because you can do it and you deserve a lot more than you think. So don't feel like you don't deserve something because of who you are or your mistakes, but you deserve it just as much as anybody else next to you, regardless of how it comes to you. Grind it out and earn it, because you can. And yeah, like, just go for it
Mm.
and just be true to yourself.
What I would say is that there is no path to true success except through Jesus Christ. In Him, you will find all of the shortcomings that you might feel like you have. All of those things will be filled in Him. Um, every mistake you think you might have made that pushed you back, all that time would be redeemed in Him. Every unknown that you might be afraid of, He will give you comfort that even though it might not seem like it's true, even though it might not seem like it's possible, that it is in Him. And don't be afraid to allow Him to shift your mind about what success is for you, what your path is. Because what you've seen what everybody has shown you to be success, to be what you want to be, that's not real. It's an illusion. And if you pull the covers back, you will see that it ain't so hot, that the money don't make sense, that like the influence and like the fame, like that stuff don't heal wounds. So it trust in him and get to the quickest path to him, and don't let other people define who you are, because God already put in you what's necessary. That's what I would say.
Right, yeah, that's a wrap.
That was awesome, bro.